Welcome to the Barry Charles Footy Show, and yes, we're going to talk about the Sydney City Roosters in 2023, the season review of Sydney Roosters. It was an absolute debacle of a season, absolute chaos everywhere, and they somehow sneaked into the finals. It was absolutely disastrous Roosters season, and it finished in an absolute horror, pain for any Roosters fans out there, because they probably done enough to win the game, but got nutted in the last minute by Cameron Munster. Yes, the Sydney Roosters season went from the highs and lows. The lows of losing to the Dolphins to start the season off, then getting on a run, winning 3 in a row, beating the Warriors, the Eels and the Rabbitohs, and then chaos assumed. Let's find out right here what went wrong, what went right for the Sydney Roosters, one of the premiership favourites for 2023, but they were knocked out week 2 of the finals, and they were nearly not even making the 8. Let's talk about it right here, right now, at the Barry Charles Footy Show. Let's go, Sydney Roosters. Yes, the Sydney City Roosters, as they used to be called, Sydney Roosters now. Yes, it was a season to forget. Forward against 19. Their tries for 19 and their points against is 20. So pretty even. Their completion rate was 75%. That's pretty low for a Roosters side, but it has been a bit that way the last couple of years. They haven't been able to tighten up, and that's probably why they're not in the top of the ladder. Top tackler Nat Butcher, over 1,000 tackles and 1,062. A very good season for him. The top point scorer, Joseph Suaali, at 124. The top try scorer was James Tedesco. The best player of the year was given to Lindsay Collins, who was outstanding in getting his Queensland selection, so understandable there. And Roosters' young gun, Sia Wong, was the rookie of the year. So that is obviously a positive, seeing him come into fruition and delivering what he needed to do. But let's have a look at a few of the disappointing things here. Jared Warrior-Hargreaves. Very inconsistent this season. Did some silliness with the headbutt situation at the end of the season. Not helping his teammates and not being on the field when it was really mattered for him. Very costly for him. Keary, just madness to not be playing in the finals football. And also for the Kiwis, whether he was actually going to pay for the Kiwis, who knows. But yeah, it's just absolutely devastating to see him let his on-field emotions get to him, because he's one of the nicest guys off the field. Very good guy, Jared Warrior-Hargreaves. But sometimes he just flicks the switch in his head on game day and goes madness in a game where they were clearly ahead of the game, and he went crazy. That's unfortunate for him, but that's the way it crumbles for some players that have this sort of mindset. But yes, after the great start to the season, even though they lost to the Dolphins, they won 3 in a row, and it was 3 wins out of 4. Everything was looking rosy. But then the middle of the season came and they lost 7 or 8 games and only won about 4. That's really was putting the pressure on. The crunch of the pressure was really on then. And all the talk was all in the media that they were gone, Burger, and I had to agree with them. I thought they were gone. But they found a way to win 5 in a row at the end of the season. But some of the games they won, they obviously turned it around against winning their last 5 games, which is very handy for them. But yes, it was just one of those things to sneak into the top 8. But yeah, the best game of the season for them, for me, was the upset of the Sharks in the first game of the finals. That was, to me, their best. It might not have been their best game in terms of how they played, but the fact that they were down to 12 men and they still won the game, it was courageous, and that was, me, their best game. But let's get to the elephant in the room. Yes, the elephant in the room. What are they doing with Sam Walker? Absolutely. They're saying they've dropped him to try and get him back to his best. You don't drop someone to the NRL and New South Wales Cup to get back to their best. Not for a long period of time anyway. You might want to shake up a player, but to me, Sam Walker wasn't playing bad when he left. It was Keary and the likes that were underperforming, in my opinion. not allowing Sam Walker to do what he does best. It's just a bit of a tough one because Sam Walker's probably not. He reminds me a bit of Daly Cherry Evans in a way. He plays similar type of footy, obviously a bit flashier. Yeah, and Reece Walsh as well into that mix, but he plays more like a Cherry Evans. He's not a natural halfback. I mean, he has the skills like Andrew Johnson as well, but he plays more like he can play a bit more of a running game as well. So yeah, to me, with Trent Robinson, I think he made the mistake there. I think they could have turned around earlier without him, but that's the way they decided to go. But to me, Sam Walker will need to be playing every game this year. If he doesn't, he needs to walk. Joseph Manu. Now, this is one of the things I talk about. The too many Chiefs and not enough Indians in this team. You've got Joseph Manu, you've got Suaali, you've got James Tedesco. All three want to play fullback. Don't get it twisted. They might be playing other positions, but they want to play fullback. If they had their choice, they would play fullback. Joey Manu decided to stick. He had a chance a few times to move away from the Warriors. And what a mistake that was. Maybe not going to the Warriors. He might be in the grand final now because Joey Manu is better. I mean, don't get Charles Nickel Clocks there. Don't get that twisted. He is better than him. And I'll be stunned if he's not fullback. Yeah, it's going to be interesting anyway. It's going to, to me, Joey Manu, is he going to move clubs to get a fullback position? Time will tell. From what I can see, he's not going to leave the Roosters, but to me, I reckon he should if he wants to get a fullback position. Yeah, so the Roosters is a bit of a, obviously Lindsay Collins had a great season. James Tedesco was a bit of an interesting one because he didn't probably play bad. He probably in the state of origin, he just didn't score a try. We could have maybe a little bit slower, but when you're losing, everything seems to go downhill for you. His break off was a bit of a question mark, but it seemed to work because the team turned it around after he got back from having the week off. To me, sounded like craziness, but it looks like in this era, there's not people are not so tough, so they've got to give them those breaks from the time to time. Even though they get 10 weeks holidays at the end of the year. Come on, we all love a 10-week holiday, and they're complaining about it. You're crazy, absolute crazy. They have that sort of holidays. Lucky for some. But let's get to it. To me, the Roosters, they've got a team to win the comp. Now, obviously they brought in Brandon Smith. Did that work for them? I'd say if you look at the season as a whole, it didn't. Can he turn it around and they play better next season? Maybe so. Just probably Brandon Smith's not an 80-minute footballer. Simple as that. He's not an 80-minute footballer. He's more of a lock type. Can play a bit of hooker. I think that's where they're at with Brandon Smith to get that. But Luke Keary, he needs to go to another level to mine. He needs to go to another level, otherwise he might be out the door, either retired or going to the Super League. Because I think he really has just, if you look at his career, he did get a premiership at the Roosters, at the Rabbitohs, but he had Adam Reynolds. He got two premierships at the Roosters, but he had Cooper Cronk. Now, one grand final, don't get it twisted, he was one of the best. I can't remember if he got the Clive Churchill medals, but he was one of the best on field that day. Absolutely outstanding. Luke Keary in their grand final when Cooper Cronk was injured. He played the game of his life, but ever since then, it's gone backwards. New South Wales as well at one point, but it's just gone backwards. Luke Keary. To me, he needs to be the top player in 2024. There's other players around, but if they want to be top-notch, they need Luke Keary firing at all cylinders to give Sam Walker the time and space he needs to do what he does best. If they don't, then the Roosters will be in the same conundrum as they've been the last few years. And to be fair, Cooper Cronk, Sonny Bill, they don't have those players in the squad right now. They really don't. Sam Walker potentially could be, but outside of him, James Tedesco has been a great player for a long time. But yes, he's not a general around in the halfback position. And someone in the backline, Boyd Cordner as well. They're missing that Jake Friends out of dummy half. Consistency. That's the thing, consistency. That's what they're missing, which Sonny Bill, Cooper Cronk you'll get. But you're not getting it from Luke Keary. You're not getting it from Tedesco. Well, Tedesco has been pretty consistent, but he doesn't bring much in attack. apart from just hitting up like Dylan Edwards. They're both attacking ones, they're not like the Reece Walshes of the game. So, but yeah, to me, overall, I've ranked the Roosters at about a C. You could argue it's probably a D for what they're expecting to be in the grand final by most pundits. They didn't. Can they finally do it before Joseph Suaali goes? Time will tell. But that is the Sydney Roosters season review. We hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with more videos just for you.